live here at HCAOA, and this is our first official podcast recording at HCAOA. What a fun opportunity. And I am sitting across from Carl, someone who I look up to, admire, have exchanged emails with over the years, and it's a pleasure to be sitting across from you. So, Carl, tell everyone the company that you represent, the state that you're located in, and then maybe the size of the company.
Okay, well, thank you, first of all, Marion, for having me. This is a great event, and I appreciate everything you're doing. I represent Senior One Care. I was one of the co-founders. It's a family-owned business located in Indiana. We have 6 offices in the north, it's central to northern and eastern part of the state. We have about 600 employees now, and we started on our kitchen table 20 years ago and hired a couple of caregivers and said, we're going to be in the business.
20 years ago. I was going to ask how long it's been. 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
Just briefly, what were you doing before home care?
I was a partner in the CPA firm. And the CPA firm had a mandatory retirement age of 65. And I was 61. I'm 81 now. I don't feel 81, but I'm 81. And I thought, what am I going to do in retirement? Because I have too much energy. I still have a lot of energy. So I said, I'd like to start a family business that I could teach my kids what I learned in the 20 years or in the 40 years I was in that CPA firm. Because when I started with that firm, it had 20 people. It had 7,000 today. So I learned a lot. And I wanted to impart that to my kids, but at the same time, I wanted to give back to community. And my mother needed this care like a lot of other people who started home care companies. Mom needed care. We couldn't find anybody that was decent and trustworthy to take care of her. So I also connected it back to my CPA days because I did a lot of strategic planning for companies. And I was always amazed at the baby boomers, how products and services change with baby boomers. And I was thinking, if we could find something that baby boomers need, we wouldn't have to go out and sell it. They'd come to us. And then Mom needed the care and, put 2 and 2 together and said, well, let's try this. And that's what we did.
And it's family owned and operated to this day. You've got some sons and I think son-in-laws involved. Just give us a quick makeup of the family members that are involved in what each of them do.
Well, we started out, it was just Kyle, my son, youngest son, who runs a business. He's the CEO of the business today. And my first wife, Jan, who was the x-ray tech at Notre Dame. She had some healthcare background. Unfortunately, she got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about 6 months after we started. So we had to try to get the business off the ground, and we were working, trying to find help for her and cure for her. So then my oldest son came down to help take care of her. He said, I want to get in the business. And then my daughter-in-law, or my son-in-law, he said, well, I like to get in the business. I said, well, hey, there's not enough room in South Bend, Indiana for all of us. We're going to have to expand. And so over time, my son-in-law and my daughter, they've both been in the business. My 2 sons are in the business. My sister, who is a registered nurse, has run our Carmel, Indiana office for years. She just retired. And then I got remarried 13 years ago. And my second wife has been in the business up until December 31. She retired. So she's been in the business for 13 years too. So it's totally family.
Another time we're going to have to dive into the family dynamics because a lot of these home care companies can relate. They start with a husband and a wife and maybe a couple kids and the dynamic changes. You've scaled this business massively across the state, multi-state, and the dynamics change, and having family involved, I imagine, can get messy at times and can be conflicting, but you have to work through some of those kinks along the way.
Exactly. And we still get together for Thanksgiving and have a good time.
Okay, I want to ask you one question that I want to unpack for the next few minutes. What is one decision or investment that took the longest to pay off, but was worth it?
Well, one investment that we made that has never paid off from a financial standpoint, in the bottom line of that investment, is that we started our own CNA school. And it came about as a result of when I was in the CPA business. And you set Senior One Care up. And I said, what I learned, one of the things I learned, that if you're in a service business, you cannot separate the service from the individual person. And that's true of the CPA business. It's true of home care. And I said, what we need to do is find better people. Whoever gets the best people in a service business wins the game long term. And that's what we're going to do. So we reached out. At that time, I didn't know the difference between a CNA and a home health aide. And I had spent about a month researching it, trying to find out, because I knew absolutely nothing about this business. And we came across a CNA school that was run by three older ladies, nurses, and we befriended them. And I gave them some consulting advice, and they let us come into their school. And we started hiring CNAs from day one. And we hired probably over a 7 year, 8 year period, about 75 out of that school. And they came in one day and said, "Hey, the state's changed the requirements. They've upped the requirements of what we have to prepare and teach our students. We're closing." And that was 11 years ago. It was a wow. We've hired 75, and they had trained about 3,500. And for the community, our community needed this. And we said, we'll just take it over. So we took it over in 2014.
Let me make sure I've got the dates correct. When you started, how many years in did you get acquainted with the CNA school?
Immediately.
Immediately. That was out of the
I
gate.
wanted,
We
we
wanted to partner.
needed to get better people. We were going to get trained people. And so we started. That's one of the first things we did before we even got a client. Where can we find CNAs?
Okay. And then what year into the business that you acquired this?
They came in
CNA school.
2013. We started in 2007, really, but in 2013, they came in and said, we're going to close at the end of the year. So we really started January 1 of 2014.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about the acquisition. That's an unconventional acquisition, maybe for a home care company. You think of them acquiring other home care companies, but to go and acquire a CNA school, that was a first for you. There's no playbook on how that's supposed to go. So talk a little bit about just like kind of that acquisition experience.
Well, it really was it wouldn't be an acquisition per se. They were closing. I had met all the people who worked there, and actually, I had given them some advice. Did a strategy planning session for them, and it said, "Look, you ladies are older. You need to get succession in here." And they said, "Well, okay, we will." And they had a person that they had thought could succeed them, which I had interviewed, and I said, "No, that's not going to be the person." I had picked the person who I thought was best, and I told them, and they said, "Okay, we'll start working with that person." Well, they didn't do anything; they didn't change, and thus, ultimately, they came in and said they're going to close. So I then reached out to that person who I knew, and I said, she was only working part time. I said, "Look, you can run this school. We're gonna take it over. They're closing our doors. We want to keep it open. We want to keep jobs for the people." So she said, "Fine," and she's still with us today, running the school. Now, since we've had the school, we've trained about 5,000 CNAs. We only hire probably 15%.
And what percentage of your census comes out? Well, you just said the percentage. Yeah. I guess of your total census or roster, what percentage comes out of the school?
We probably have about 50% of our caregivers are CNAs, 50%. And virtually all of them would come out of the screen. I mean, that's how we got them. And so, to answer your original question, we've never made any money, but we look at it that really the cost it would take to hire the kind of people we're hiring, the small loss that we have in the school is well worth it, because we'd spend a lot more time trying to find the quality people. And the benefit is that we get to watch them in action. It's like an internship. You get to see which ones you want and which ones are team players. And so it's been a wonderful thing. And we just feel good because the other 85% are going out getting jobs. So we're doing something for the community. We're helping hospitals and hospice companies and nursing homes and assisted living, because they're looking for these people. All of them get jobs.
Mm.
And we have a very, very high pass rate, about 98, 99% pass rate. So we will make certain that these people taking the class pass.
Just a couple of technical questions about the CNA operation. You just said that someone from the original business stayed on and runs the school. How tightly connected is Senior One with the CNA school? Is it like synonymous? They're one and the same, or it's run kind of like two separate businesses?
It's run as two separate businesses, but there's a very close connection. And and the person who leads it today is really part of our senior management team. So when a student comes in to register, let's say, our nurses know what kind of people we're looking for. So we don't have to hire CNAs. So many times they're looking to make certain if that person is a senior one care caliber person, we want to send them up to recruiting right away, even before they take the class. So we'll hire them before they take the class. Then we watch them once go through the classes, and the nurses there who teach the program, they understand what we're looking for.
Mm.
And they're looking for team players. They're looking for people with compassion, with a personality to deal with private pay business, because our business is primarily private pay.
Mm.
And some of the really good students we don't get because they want a fixed work week. They want an 8 to 5 job. We can't offer that. So they'll work for the hospital or something. And some very good students that way. We get a lot of college students that are, and actually right now we are really big in high school. We probably got 400 high school students we're training this year. So we're looking for those kind of people to come on board while they're going through nursing school or whatever they plan to do in college. We love those college students. So I hire a lot of those kind of people too.
What about ongoing training? So you put these CNAs through that kind of like initial schooling training up front. In home care, there's specialized training, there's, ongoing training, CEUs type deal. Is the school also equipped to support ongoing training for existing caregiver CNAs out in the field? They can come back and retrain or learn more.
Actually, going back, the name of the school is Legacy. Was called Legacy CNA Training. And the name came because of the legacy these 3 ladies left, of which one of which is still working for us. And I think she's 88 and she's still working in the CNA school. And we love her. So basically, we have changed the name now to Legacy Medical Academy because we're teaching more than just a CNA school. So we're teaching QMA. As an example, and other courses that relate to to the medical, CPR and those kind of injections is another thing that we're teaching in the program. So we're looking at that, and then in addition to that, we're using the capabilities of the nurses to train our people relative to transfer and the things that people would need to bed baths and the things that they would need to adequately service our client.
A question that's probably on everyone's mind is technology's role in training. I think I maybe talked to one of your sons a number of years ago about kind of AI and VR, like virtual reality and baking that into training. Did that take off, or what does the tech integration in the CNA school look like today?
There's not been what you're talking with Kyle, and he's big into the technology arena, much more so than I am. But he hooked up with a virtual reality company that we do virtual reality training for our caregivers, where you put a headset on and look at the screen, and it's amazing what some of that technology can really do. So we have courses on dementia where you're using virtual reality, macular degeneration, which I love. I love that where they show up a spot where you can't see. And I had the CEO of a major hospital come in, and I showed him the information on that macular degeneration. He says, "Wow."
You're stepping into their shoes.
And he said, "My son doesn't have macular degeneration, but has something similar. I never have known what he has been going through." I thought, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, the training and technology is going to be huge in the training room moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's like everything. It's just finding that balance. What can the technology do exceptionally well?
Yeah.
But where does it just supplement what the humans can do
Yeah.
exceptionally
Yeah.
well?
I mean, we've done the basics several years ago where we there's 72 different procedures in Indiana that a CNA has to learn. And we do that in 1 week. It's a cram course. They have to learn these procedures. And then they have to spend a couple of weeks in a nursing home with practicing those with clients. So during COVID, we put all of those on video. So the course doesn't have to be in person today. People can take the CNA course and do it virtually on video, which is incident. Another reason why we're talking about the investment not paying off financially, but it's a huge recruiting tool, the CNA school, because we tell people coming in, "Hey, you want to be a CNA? Oh, I'd love to." Well, if you prove yourself and you be with us for 3 to 6 months and no call offs, and you do the job, we'll put you through for free.
Mm.
And so we train a lot of the existing people that we hire who aren't CNAs by giving them that offer.
Yeah. So talking about the investment in it, are you breaking even or I don't know, what can
We
you share in the
we we're
financials?
getting close to breaking even
Okay.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting close to break even. But it hasn't lost a lot of money. We may have lost 50 to $100,000 in some years.
And knowing what you know now, would you do anything
Oh
differently?
no, we would do it. We would do it again, again, and again.
Okay.
Actually, before we even bought the school, we sent one of our nurses to the. You have to be a programmer through the state schools, 3 day course. We sent one of our nurses there thinking we could do this ourselves. And we found out that there's too much complexity.
Mm.
And so they knew the rules, they knew the regulations, had the relationships with the regulators at Indiana State Board of Health. And so it's been a wonderful, wonderful. And I told Kyle the day that we closed the deal with him, I said, remember this day because this is going to be significant in the life of senior one care, and it has been,
And it has
and it will
been.
be in the future.
Well said.
Mm.
My last question, though, think of all these home care owners listening to this. They may not all have the opportunity to buy a CNA school, become a school, but at the minimum, they can partner with
Mm.
CNA schools. Is that your advice, or
Yeah,
what would you advise these people
I,
in regards to what you've done if they can't pull it off
I
themselves?
I would if I had to go back again, I would never try to do it on my own. I would either find a school that I could buy or partner with the school because the complexity of what you're dealing with in training these people and all the reporting relationship. It's more than we in home care, I think, want to spend that kind of time to really do it the right way. And so, yeah, I would partner or I'd try to buy the school. Yeah,
Carl, this has been a pleasure.
yeah.
Thanks for joining me live at HCAOA in the hot seat. Carl Bossung. Fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.